Okay, boxing fans. I want to talk about this fight, upcoming fight between Bryant Jennings and Wladimir Klitschko. Wladimir Klitschko, recognized universally as the heavyweight champion of the world, even though Deontay Wilder now has got the WBC title. And once again, congratulations to Deontay Wilder. This fight, the things I automatically hear out of a lot of people's mouths are, he's too small. Bryant Jennings is too small. Oh, and Wladimir Klitschko is going to win the fight easy. And do you know? And I'm a little concerned about this whole thing about size. Oh, this is the new era of heavyweights. Everyone over 6'5", they're big and they're strong and they're powerful, and therefore anybody who's 6'1" or 6'2" doesn't stand a chance. I don't subscribe to that way of thinking. I believe that you've got to credit a man by the skill level that he has. Wladimir Klitschko is a highly skilled heavyweight, and I had a discussion recently on Twitter just a few minutes ago, which inspired me to do this video, and it's almost this sort of blindness. I think it must be people that are new to boxing. This blindness that Wladimir Klitschko is not unbeaten. He's not unbeatable. He's beatable. You've seen Ross Purity do it. You've seen Lamont Brewster do it. You've seen Sam Peter drop him. And so you've seen these defeats. So the chin hasn't changed. Wladimir Klitschko's chin has not changed. He's not suddenly got a better chin, but what he has done and what Emmanuel Stewart has done to him, for those who are still not aware, is that Emmanuel Stewart has made him now a more defensively sound fighter. What do I mean by that? More defensively responsible. Basically, when Wladimir started out his professional career, and of course his big brother, who is aggressive and more of the fighter, out of the two, he's more of the fighter. He's the one who'll stand and have a tear up with you. And I always thought he was the better fighter, boxer all round. Wladimir tried to do the same things that Vitaly was doing. Thing was, Vitaly had a chin, so Vitaly could get away with it. With Wladimir now, he tried to do the same thing and he got his chin checked. Because his chin doesn't hold up the same way that Vitaly's does. And, they're not the same animal. And for me, that's quite obvious. So therefore, that's the reason why Emmanuel Stewart had to come in. So, when you look at Vladimir's chin, you've got to look at what happens when he gets hit and how he responds. Wladimir is so scared of getting knocked out, or is so scared of getting knocked out. He's trained himself now with Emmanuel Stewart and now Jonathan. Well, so much with Emmanuel Stewart to make him so defensively sound now that he won't take the risks. But now in this era, there's a changing in the era now, because now Jonathan Banks is in the corner with James Elliott Bashir. Now Bashir was there beforehand. Now this Klitschko, I don't know if people have noticed, is becoming more aggressive. He's becoming more entertaining, as the fans would say. But there's a problem with that, because if Klitschko goes back to being the aggressive Klitschko and trying to knock people out, then he goes back to leaving his chin exposed. And by leaving your chin exposed, you're giving people more chances. So, yes, I understand and I agree that the Klitschko that's around today is not the Klitschko that was getting knocked up by Lamont Brewster or knocked down by Sam Peter. What I don't subscribe to is that Klitschko's chin has got any better. He just doesn't give you as many opportunities. So bearing that in mind, what do we have now in Klitschko? We have a guy that's in defensive mode, doesn't really want to get hit, which is the art of boxing, hit and not get hit. And he's now converting back to the Klitschko of old, with the mindset of being a defensive fighter first, But now Bashir and Banks are trying to get him to open up as a fighter, like I said before. So how do I see this fight going with Jennings and Klitschko? Well, I'm not going to give you a prediction yet, but I can tell you, I'll show you where I'm going with this fight. I kind of draw parallels with the Hay fight, only because of the size factor. But I think personally that Jennings is a better all-round boxer than Hay. I think Hay's a bigger puncher. And people say to me, oh yeah, well, Hay's fast. Well, I said, you know, all due respect to Hay, but speed is there to get you into positions to throw punches and get you out of position to avoid getting hit. There's no point having speed if you're not going to back your speed to get in, throw your punches and get out. And you saw that from long range. Hay was trying to throw punches from long range and land on Klitschko's chin because he didn't have the confidence to have enough speed to get in, throw shots and get out. Now, I've always said this about Wladimir Klitschko, and I will stay on this point. If you're going to beat Wladimir Klitschko, you have to be a dog to beat Wladimir Klitschko. You have to be prepared to A, take chances, and B, be prepared to have a fight and take him into a battle. If you look at Sam Peter, if you look at Brewster, they were prepared to absorb a hell amount of punches to get in and land their own. If you look at Kubrat Pulev, yes, I know he got knocked down in the first round. Yes, I know he got knocked down on several occasions and had no sort of game plan, and for some reason just stood in front of Wladimir. Well, I thought he'd give us a bit more movement. Didn't do that. But let's go back to that first round. It was a jab. That left jab shook Klitschko up so much so. People say, oh, well, he just shook him up with a jab. Shook him up with a jab. But he stood there and then let Klitschko unload on him. And if you look again, all the times that Pulev was getting hit and getting dropped is because he stood right, he threw some punches, stood right in front of Klitschko, and then got dropped. It's because he was in the range. Now, with Jennings, you have now somebody who is a defensively sound fighter or defensively responsible, which means he's not going to throw punches unless he believes they're going to land. So now you've got two fighters in the ring that are thinking fighters. And he will give Klitschko angles. So bear this in mind. He'll give Klitschko angles. He'll use good footwork. He'll get in, throw shots, and get away before Klitschko can land punches. So get in, throw your shots, shift to the side. Is it possible? Can he box that way? He's going to have to. Can he stay outside and use the jab and out-jab Klitschko? Well, he's got the longer reach in this fight. How many fights has Klitschko been in with someone who's got a longer reach than him? Are these factors even going to matter? I think that when you've got a guy who's got a big heart that wants to come to fight, that makes him dangerous. But it also makes him foolhardy because he can just walk in and take a whole heap of shots and get knocked out. So you've got a guy who is diligent in the gym, somebody who is dedicated to the craft. He's not going to be coming in overweight in the fight, always in shape. Somebody who has been well schooled by a good trainer in Fred Jenkins, coming out of Philadelphia. So Jennings will be well schooled and well versed. The question marks is, how does he do against a man that's 6'6" and so big and imposing as a heavyweight? Is that going to matter if Jennings is not engaging and only picking when to throw shots? Jennings should be the faster fighter in there. He should have the better hand speed. He's got a longer jab, but he hasn't got the experience that Wladimir brings to the table. And the skill level. Forget the size factor here. Let's talk about skill level here. Is Jennings able to get in and out? Is he able to out-jab Klitschko? Is he able to hurt Klitschko? These are all questions. And if he can hurt Klitschko, and he has to able to constantly hurt the champion, then what happens? A guy is coming in with a very strong mental attitude. But then you could also say, when you get hit, it all changes. What happens when Jennings gets hit by a Klitschko right hand? Is he going to want to stick around? Will he be able to take a Klitschko right hand? It's all well and good talking from the outside. What happens when you're inside that ring? Who knows? But these are some things to think about. But I will always go on the factor fighter being having skills. I will always go by skills. A guy who's able to get in and out, move side to side, box, use different game plans. I'll always get against a guy. I'll always back a guy like that with a good trainer rather than back a fighter that's just got size. Size doesn't win fights. Skill factor and knowing how to use your size is, you see, it's being able to use your size, i.e. Klitschko when he fought Povetkin, being able to lean on him, hold him up. Now, the fight being in America, that's another factor altogether as well, because who is the referee going to be in the fight? If you've got a referee that doesn't allow a lot of holding, that's going to definitely be to Jennings' benefit. You know, I'm not convinced that let me rephrase this. The fights Klitschko's been in Europe, he's been able to get a referee that allows it to hold. If you look at even the referee that was in the fight against Povetkin, we were robbed of a good fight there because Povetkin came with the ambition to win that world championship, but the referee, let's be honest, the holding and the grabbing and the illegal moves, just is disgraceful and one of the worst heavyweight championship fights of a long time. You know, and the facts are, and these are the facts, Wladimir Klitschko has got no inside game whatsoever, hence why he has to hold. What he does have is a fantastic left jab, big right hand, big fight experience, you know, an ability to know when to throw punches or when not to throw punches, when to engage and when not to engage. So he's got a great history behind him. But all good things must come to an end, as they say. And will it happen in New York? Who knows? A lot of people saying that Klitschko will blow Jennings out in the first, second round. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you've got to look at a guy's skill level. He certainly won't be doing what Pulev did, which is standing right in front of Klitschko. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And if you're going to put down Klitschko knocks out Jennings in 4 or 5 rounds, explain why. What are your reasons why? Not just say he's going to knock him out. Explain why. Show some of your boxing knowledge as to why you think a guy is going to win the fight either way. I'm not going to do a prediction at the moment, but I'm giving you an idea of what I'm seeing for this fight. Hugely strategic fight. I think that Jennings is going to get in. He's going to get into range. He'll shock people. Get into range. He'll land blows. He'll get out of range. But one thing he mustn't do is start fights like he's done in previous fights. Start very slow. He's going to get out early, and he's going to hit Klitschko early, hurt him, but not get greedy. He's going to get in there, throw shots, throw 1 or 2 shots, and get out of there. You know, and even when he does hurt Klitschko, he mustn't do what Pulev did. He just stand there. He's going to throw 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, roll out, roll to the sides. And because he's smaller, he's a smaller target. He makes himself even a smaller target, which is a good thing. A smaller target, so it's harder for Wladimir Klitschko to connect. And when he's not leaning on you and make the champ, who's older, much older, use his legs around the ring and make it a fight. Fight when Klitschko doesn't want him to fight. That's the strategy I believe is going to be put into place. So he's going to make it uncomfortable for the champion and early on. But those are my thoughts so far. Let me know what you guys are thinking. It'd be interesting to find out why as well that Bryant Jennings, who was with Rock Nation and with Gary Shaw, why that whole situation has dissolved. Whether it's the way Rock Nation are doing business and Gary Shaw didn't like it, or vice versa. I don't know. Maybe the way the direction Rock Nation will go and Gary Shaw didn't like it. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't tell you no, but I will at some point talk to Bryant again. Check out the interview I did with Bryant Jennings. I had a few people comment on it, not via YouTube, but said, why did I do a 45-minute interview? I think I pride Bayloric TV on getting interviews that are a little different, not asking the same old questions. And, you know, it's nice way to build a relationship with fighters. And, you know, you're asking them, find out what they're about as a fighter and get to know more about them and their psyche. I'm not just interested in just doing interviews for the sake of doing interviews. I'm interested in getting to know the people I'm interviewing because I have a general interest in them. So that's just like, for some people, it's not an interview anymore. It's just having a chat. And it's having a chat with somebody, and I've got a camera, and I'm inviting you in to watch. So that's why I do the interviews, those sort of interviews, the way I do. So some people don't like it. Sure, there's loads of other media outlets out there that you can go and watch videos and watch a 2 or 3 minute interview. But that's my style. That's the way it is. I don't see myself changing in that sense. Well, anyway, that's me and my thoughts about Jennings and Klitschko. I don't believe size matters. I think skills matters. And if you're a smaller man with better skills than a bigger man, then it's a different matter. But if you've got two men, you know, you've got a big man who's got skills and more skills than a smaller man, then it's not the size that's winning the match, is it? It's the skills. I'm out.